Stop wasting money on the wrong damn 9mm. In August 2026, the easiest mistake isn't buying trash. Trash shows itself fast. The real trap is buying the safe pistol everybody praises, then spending the next 6 months fixing comfort, fixing sights, fixing mags, fixing your own regret. I've done it. Paid for a name, paid for hype, paid extra because some guy at the counter acted like price meant trust. Then a cheaper gun ran cleaner, carried better, and made me feel stupid with the receipt still warm in my pocket. So this list has one rule. The pistol has to make sense after the money gets real. Not in a glass case, not in a comment war. On your belt, at the range, with ammo costs, holsters, upgrades, and bad decisions staring back at you. One gun near the top looks wrong until the math punches you in the mouth. And number one is boring enough to make people mad. At number 7, the Ruger Max 9 is where stop wasting money starts getting uncomfortable because this pistol asks a nasty little question. Are you paying more for a better carry gun, or are you just paying more to feel better before you hide it under a shirt? That hit me on a hot August morning with 2 micro compacts on my kitchen table. One had the better name, better feel, better little ego boost when you picked it up. Then there was the Max 9, sitting there like a budget tool from the bottom drawer. I carried both through the same ugly normal day. Belt, holster, t-shirt, truck seat, gas station, sweat down my back, wallet already sore, and the expensive one did not magically become worth the extra money. It still rode under a shirt. Still needed the right holster, still snapped like a tiny 9mm, still printed if my belt sucked, still depended more on setup than price tag. The Ruger Max 9 did the same boring daily job without pretending it belonged in a jewelry case. No, it does not feel premium. The trigger is not magic. Recoil is still small gun recoil. Nobody sees it and gets jealous. But that is the point. The Max 9 belongs here because it makes some expensive carry guns look unnecessary. Not worse. Unnecessary. That leftover money buys ammo, a real belt, and a holster that does not chew your hip raw. I hate that a Ruger made the math this obvious. You paid for the logo, didn't you? Slipped out before I could stop it. 2 weeks into August 2026, my buddy dropped his new compact on the bench with a fresh holster, spare mags, and a receipt folded under the ammo box like evidence. He kept saying everybody was moving to it, then he shot it. Nothing failed. Nothing embarrassed him. It ran fine, grouped fine, felt fine. Fine is where money goes to die. Most buyers aren't wasting cash on garbage, 9mm right now. They're wasting it on the louder, safer pistol before touching the boring one sitting cheaper in the case. The Beretta APX A1 Compact was buried in my bag, ugly enough to need an apology. Chunky grip, odd lines, no cool guy glow. I handed it over and told him to run 3 mags without defending his receipt. By the second mag, his mouth shut. By the third, he stared at the target like Beretta had insulted his bank account. The APX tracked clean, ate cheap ammo, and punched the same ugly cluster for less money. The grip still feels strange. Aftermarket support is thin compared to Glock or SIG. Nobody buys it to impress the internet, but in August 2026, this is one of the best 9mm buys because it gets close enough to make extra money look stupid. The next one has the opposite problem. Everybody trusts it, and trust gets expensive fast. The G43 XMOS hadn't cost him a dime yet, and the bill was already growing. Last month at a shop counter in Austin, a guy beside me had his phone out with a screenshot of some newer, slim carry 9mm everyone online kept chewing on. He was already sold. Confident. Dangerous kind of confident. Then he asked for the rest of the setup. The clerk started moving like a man looking for a lost dog. Holster wasn't on the wall. Spare mags were maybe in back. Optic plate needed a computer search. Sights turned into another question. Every answer came with a shrug, and every shrug sounded like money leaving somebody's pocket. That is how people waste money in August 2026. They buy the pistol, then find out the pistol is only the cover charge. I asked about the Glock 43 XMOS. Different room. Holster right there, mags right there. Sight options, plates, parts, support, all the boring junk that keeps a carry gun from turning into a scavenger hunt. Nobody clapped. Nobody got excited. Good. Excitement is usually expensive. The 43 XMOS still feels plain. Trigger is plain. Factory setup feels like Glock is holding something back just to annoy you. I get it. But boring support saves money. The 43 XMOS saves money in the places buyers forget to count. Parts, holsters, mags, trust. The next one finally brings the flash back. And that is exactly where wallets start acting stupid again. His pistol already had a shopping list longer than the gun. Indoor range, brass everywhere. And this guy had his phone open like he was planning a kitchen remodel. Trigger kit, barrel, optic plate, magwell, maybe a comp, maybe slide work later. He kept calling it building smart, which usually means the money leak already started. The pistol, he had worked. That was the problem. Good enough to keep, not good enough to stop feeding it parts. Then the Canik METE SFT Pro came out. He laughed first. Too flashy, too busy, too Canik. Some people still hear that name and act like the gun came with a coupon and a warning label. Then he shot it. Trigger felt ready. Controls felt ready. The setup felt finished. The gun stayed flat enough that his whole upgrade plan started looking like a trap. He built one tab at a time. This is why the METE SFT Pro fits a stop wasting money list in August 2026. You're not just buying a cheaper 9mm. You're avoiding the expensive habit of buying a pistol, then paying again to make it feel complete. No, it is not small, not subtle, not my first pick for a plain t-shirt carry day, but some pistols save money by being boring. This one saves money by showing up already guilty. 3 months later, his perfect little carry gun was still sitting in the safe. That is when the Taurus GX4 Carry started making him mad, and he had not even shot mine yet. Last winter, he tried to beat the system. Wanted small, wanted affordable, wanted a 9mm he could forget was on his belt. So he grabbed one of the tiniest pistols in the case and walked out feeling like he had pulled one over on everybody. Then reality got mine. The grip was too short. Recoil snapped harder than he expected. Every range trip felt like punishment instead of practice. Nothing broke, which almost made it worse. A broken gun is easy to blame. A miserable gun just sits there, making you feel stupid. He tried fixing the feeling. Grip sleeve. Different holster. Better ammo. More patience than the pistol deserved. None of it changed the fact that he had saved money on a gun he did not want to run. The GX4 Carry did something different. Same budget conversation, but enough grip to control. Small enough to carry, not so small it punished every mistake. Not fancy, not premium. Still carrying Taurus baggage. And I'd test anyone hard before trusting it. But standing in this month, this is one of the best 9mm picks because it keeps the price low without turning practice into punishment. Saving money only counts if the gun still gets used. Above this, the argument flips hard. spending more starts looking cheaper than buying twice. Most people waste money on 9mm pistols slow enough to call it research, one that almost feels right, another that almost shoots flat enough, a third that finally has the trigger, the capacity, the optic cut, but somehow still feels unfinished. I watched a guy do that exact dance for a year. Cheap carry gun first, better trigger next. Different compact after that. Then another serious option, because the last one still had that little knot of doubt in it. Every purchase made sense by itself. Together they looked like a confession. The SIG P211-GTO is where that cycle breaks. Full-size, hammer-fired, double-stack 9mm, built with that modern 2011 kind of attitude. Bull barrel, integrated compensator, optic-ready slide, and it runs standard P32 mags, which matters more than people admit. Proprietary mag pain turns a nice pistol into a hostage situation real fast. If you actually want to spend money on a 9mm in August 2026, this is one of the few higher-priced answers that can make sense because it stops the usual second purchase. The trigger feels clean. The comp keeps it flatter than it has any right to be. The whole gun feels like it showed up already past the excuses. No, it is not cheap, not subtle, not the answer for somebody who shoots twice a year and wants basic carry. But the painful part is not paying more. The painful part is realizing the expensive one might have been cheaper if you bought it first. By the time I got back to the truck that afternoon, August had already done what August does. Shirt stuck to my back, belt digging into my side, empty water bottle rolling around the floorboard, and 3 pistols sitting on the passenger seat, like they were all waiting for me to lie about them. I did not want the Shield Plus to be the answer. That is the truth. I wanted something newer to win. Something cleaner. Something with a little more personality. Because saying Shield Plus at number 1 almost feels too easy. Then I looked at what actually happened. It carried without making me hate my belt. It shot without making me fight for control. It did not need a speech. It did not need 3 upgrades before I could trust it. And when the receipt printed, I did not get that little stomach drop like, man, what else am I about to spend fixing this thing? That is why it lands here. The Shield Plus is number 1 because it does not feel like a compromise after the receipt prints. Is it flashy? No. The grip can get a little aggressive after a long day, and I still think some newer pistols feel slicker in the hand. But slick does not save you money. Useful does. And once you admit that, a lot of expensive 9mm suddenly have a problem they cannot talk their way out of. So now it's on you. Which one actually lets you shoot without fighting it? Because the mistake isn't missing shots. It's picking something that makes you doubt yourself right away. Some people go too small and get punished. Some can't even run the slide. Others buy what sounds right and regret it the same day. And most don't realize it until they've already committed. If a gun makes you hesitate, fight it, or second guess. Answer. Drop your first gun below. The one you thought was right. And the one that actually worked. I'm Steve. And if you're still guessing after this,